Welcome to the Week 9 recap. We're going to talk about the discussion, the Wi-Fi troubleshooting discussion. All right, in the scenario, it says that you work for a corporation that uses an enterprise-level wireless access. That's the 802.1x using the WPA2 enterprise, which is it's going to be the EPEEP method of authentication. All right, so you have two VLANs set up for the wireless access. One is for the public guest access, and the one is for business devices only. So the business devices, guest access probably is not going to require dual authentication. It's just going to be username and password more than likely. That's usually how that's set up, but it's through a captive portal a lot of times. So if you go to a hotel, let's say if you go to a college, really any place, they're going to require a name and password or some sort of authentication. It's not going to be just, if you go into a coffee shop, the password for today is coffee123. A lot of times for large enterprise organizations, they are going to have, at least a captive portal. And there's a point to all of this. So, and then for business devices, apparently it's dual factor authentication, so it's probably going to be a certificate. So username, password, and then a certificate on the business devices. So the point of all of that is, for IoT devices, a lot of times they require simple internet connections, kind of like the coffee shop, your password for today is. And once you plug them in, start them up, go to their interface, it's going to ask just for the password to the Wi-Fi. They don't have the capabilities of an 802.1x type authentication system. So using those devices can be problematic on an enterprise level wireless connection. Now you could actually set up an SSID that broadcasts a simpler connection. You really just don't want to use that type of thing, but let's say you use WPA2, the personal level. It's still secure. Things are still encrypted. It's not like somebody's sitting there and can actually sniff packets as easily going by. So you could potentially do that, and then you would create, let's say, again, a third VLAN that would produce, or that would connect to your wireless controller, and your controller would then pump out a third SSID through the APs. In other words, there would be a third wireless signal. And you could even have it to where it's not broadcasting the SSID. It is just, it's available, and you as the network admin know how to access it. Sometimes IoT devices are so simple they can't even allow that. They're looking for a broadcasting SSID. They don't give you the option of manually entering that information. So it's kind of up to the IoT device. So you'd have that SSID, it would be segregated, that VLAN would be segregated from the rest of the network. It would only, let's say, provide internet access. Couldn't necessarily do VLAN hopping. Again, nothing is foolproof though. Nothing is, hack-proof, I should say. So IoT devices do potentially present security risks. They also present security risks in the fact that if they're sending out a signal and somebody is able to hack that device, they could potentially use that device, maybe not to steal information, but to eavesdrop or to, just do other things. There's even been issues with baby monitors. There's no sensitive information on one side, but you don't want some creep down the road talking to your kid through the baby monitor. So same type of thing. So IoT devices, are they good? They can be awesome. But IoT devices in a business environment, tread very cautiously. Be very careful. Sometimes you have no choice. In a hospital, there are a lot of IoT devices. A lot of times some of the devices that offer monitoring are not necessarily built with security in mind, because after all, who would want to hack a monitor? So sometimes you have no choice. It depends on the organization. It depends on your security policies. That is really what it comes down to. What is allowed? There are some organizations that IoT devices are absolutely not allowed. And then other places that, yeah, they're allowed if these provisions are made. Very few places, unless it's a small business, are going to be using just open IoT devices on everything. So, and again, IoT devices, the Internet of Things devices, can be thermostats or the Ring doorbell, so security cameras. It can be refrigerators. I mean, there are so many things that can report to the internet, third-party cloud-based server application that it's just, there's a lot of stuff out there that you as a network admin may have to contend with. So just kind of keep all of that in the back of your mind. So in this scenario, a department manager contacts you and wants you to install temperature IoT or Internet of Things devices that connect to the Wi-Fi to gain internet access so the devices can report to a cloud-based system. This would allow them to monitor the temperatures of areas on their smartphones at any time. Sometimes you have to ask, well, do you really need that? Okay, so, let's say it's an HVAC system, and the department manager is, let's say, the maintenance department. He's manager of the maintenance department. So he would like to monitor various rooms. He's got his own, the HVAC system is installed, that's on its own system. He's decided to install thermostats in each room or little temperature devices in each room, and his desire is to, when he's on vacation or he's at home or whatever, pulls up his phone and says, okay, yep, I see that the temperatures are good. There's no alerts, etc. Let's say he's looking for an early alert system. Again, this is all hypothetical. That's not in the scenario. Who knows what the reasoning is? The whole point of that is there another way around this? Do we need the IoT device? Again, it all comes down to security policies. Some places they have a very hard rule, no IoT devices. And so the response is, I'm sorry, but no, you can't do that. We have a security policy. You would have to take this is above my pay grade. You would have to take this to, say upper administration and rewrite the policies. In which case, then you would need to consult me again, and we would have to be part of this. And, IT department manager is going to have to be part of this. So some places it's very clear, but then most places, unless you work on a military base or again someplace that's very clear, a lot of places it's a gray area. I don't know. Do we need this device? Is this just a boy? It would be nice to have that. Is this just a wow? That's really cool. I saw this advertised on TV. Or is this something that we really need? And is this something that the HVAC system, let's say, handles without us having to purchase these things and install them in all the office buildings in order to give you an early alert system if something goes haywire? So, sometimes it takes more questioning. Do we really need this? And you have to go about this diplomatically. You just don't walk up to that department manager and say, well, do we really need this? Obviously, he thinks we really need this because he's asked you to connect it to the network. He's already gone through the process of purchasing and wanting to install these things. So yeah, he thinks we need this. So don't just come at him like a rhino and say, okay, this is do we really need this thing because it's such a huge security risk? Approach it diplomatically. Well, really, the ultimate question is, do we need this, and can we do something else? And kind of work around it. Well, show me the HVAC system, how that works. Can it be moved to the cloud, or is there a way to access it remotely somehow, or something like that? Or is good night. There are some systems, they will send you an email. They'll send you text messages if there's an issue. I have that for networking devices. If something goes down, I get immediate alerts. If temperatures go up, or if there's moisture in the room, or very low moisture, some of these things are set to send me emails, texts, whatever, depending on the severity of the issue. And so, kind of the big picture, really. There's no necessarily right or wrong answer to this. A lot of you had great input, great ideas. A lot of you said what I just said, so I am confirming what you said. But basically, that's kind of that type of situation to where this is how you would handle it. you really want to find out more information. Is this really needed? If there are no clear policies, is this really needed? Because IoT devices do present security risks. So that's it for the week 9 scenario. If you have any questions, please let me know.